Hey, everybody. Welcome to day 301 of Reseller Reflections, a day in the life of a full-time reseller supporting her family. It's Saturday, April 5th, 2025, and I am drained, but don't worry, there's hope. We did not meet our sales goal today, although we probably would if we finished the shipping. I decided to take a little break today and go out with some friends. And now I'm exhausted and the shipping's not done. I had a whole host of other things to do for the business. Just today did not work exactly the way I thought it would. I thought I was going to get my bike down, see what I needed to do to get it tuned up, but that didn't happen either. So instead of frustration, I'm going to talk. Wait. Did I say we hit our sales goal for the week? So that's why I'm not concerned about finishing up the shipping tonight as well, because we've already hit our sales goal and that's fine. And because I need a little rest. So yesterday I talked to you about that I was going to mention a Jay Shetty podcast, and let me grab the name of it. I could only find it on podcast. I could not find it on. It is the latest podcast. Jay Shetty, On Purpose. Do this every morning to boost energy and stay focused. I think it is mistitled, but that is the title of it on podcast. So anyway, it's all about what's draining your energy and how important rest is. And maybe because it's mistitled, that's why there was some kind of glitch and it wasn't released to YouTube. But anyway, I'm going to link up the podcast. It is not, the title doesn't really match, but anyway, it is about, this isn't even what I was going to talk about, which is funny. I'm all over the place because I'm tired. So I wasn't even going to talk about the fact of like energy drain today, but I was listening to it again through a totally different lens today. And he was talking about exactly that, like what's draining your energy and how important rest is. And we don't realize that a lot of little things that happen throughout the day or even our workspace, all of these things can drain our energy. I'm just going to chat about them for a minute or two, but go listen to the podcast. I think it is well worth it, and you're probably going to get something totally different out of it, because I said I wasn't even going to talk about the energy drain about this podcast. So I'm sure you'll pick something up from it. So different things that can drain our energy. Perfectionism. I don't really struggle with perfectionism, but I know a lot of you do. A lot of people do. You know, you want to get it done perfectly. You put a lot of pressure on yourself. It really drains your energy when really things don't need to be perfect. Perfection is the enemy of progress, and we just need to keep that in our head and remember that. Like, is it keeping you from moving forward? Is it keeping you from, doing something or stopping doing something or having a stopping point that is good enough, right? You get a diminishing like return on investment the more time you spend on something toward the end, if it doesn't need to be perfect. So get a little diminishing return there. So I don't know, think about it in whatever way you need to. If you find yourself saying, oh, you know what, I just need to tweak this, do you? Maybe you do, maybe that's legitimate, but maybe it's good enough. And maybe it's going to serve its purpose. And maybe it's better being released imperfect, being put out to the world, being put out to your company imperfect. Maybe it's going to serve more than striving for that perfectionism and the extra time it's going to take. All right. So that's one thing that can totally drain our energy. Another thing, people, right? Energy leaks. People. When you leave a group of people, do you feel energized or do you feel drained? He recommends that you kind of give it a review, much like you would give a restaurant a review, and just do a check over the course of a week. When you spend time with people, do you feel drained or do you feel energized when you leave that? Now, this is a little bit difficult for me because I always find, I'm an introvert, I always find social situations draining. If I'm enjoying them, I still find them draining. So this is a little bit different. I think maybe it applies better to people that are more naturally extroverted, but I can say, like, I know how I feel when I leave a group of people. Like, I went out with my friends today, and of course, I laughed my head off, and of course, I was tired afterward. But it was happy, it was good. So, give it that a little review. Are there people in your life that you're spending time and energy on? Even messaging, texting, uh, going out with, doing Zoom meetings, whatever that are draining you more than like giving back. So think about that and think maybe there's boundaries you can set around that. Um, Activities can be energy leaks. Social media, social media, social media. Um, you guys know I've been on a social media diet for, I don't know, it's been months. And Uh, I do not regret it at all. I definitely don't want to go back. Yes, there are challenges because I miss things that are going on in people's lives. General, if it's important, someone tells me. Um, there are drawbacks to it, but I found the benefits of it are far outweigh the negative effects. People are more likely to text me or pick up the phone and call because they know I'm not, keeping tabs on social media. So I've gotten some great conversations. Yes, I have missed things, but I've definitely made deeper connections through, phone calls, texts, in person. And that's been wonderful. So is social media a drain on you? And guess what? Social media is addictive, right? Dopamine hits are addictive and it's designed to give you dopamine. This is a whole other topic. Designed to give you dopamine hits. And that can be an addiction, right? You get a little, you get a dopamine hit and then you need more and then you need more and then you need more. So yes, there is a withdrawal period for social media if you're using it kind of like that and you get those like dopamine hits. Yeah, there is a withdrawal period. So, you might not feel it in the first week, 2 weeks, but like a little further out when you have perspective, you might see how it was draining your energy. And there's resources out there that can definitely help with that. Meetings. Are there meetings that can be done? I liked this whole point that he had. Are there meetings that, can be shorter, can be, instead of a half an hour, can be 15 minutes, can be 10 minutes. And he also says, if you get out of a meeting and you feel like, gosh, took too much time, think about, is it something that could have been taken care of by a Slack message or a text? Was it really necessary? Was your time spent efficiently? Is that an energy leak? And I think that really just depends. All right, guys, this next one I love, 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 love. Clutter. Clutter. Clutter can absolutely be an energy leak. How your environment looks around you, whether it's clean or organized, well put together. Now, if you look behind me, this is a terrible example. My desk is organized. That stuff is organized. Would I feel better if that space behind me was, totally free and clear? Yeah, I definitely would. And maybe that's something I need to go ahead and work on and figure out like a more organized, visually organized. It is organized, but a more visually organized system because I'm like that. I always said when people go, well, but upstairs is where I live, downstairs is the business. But when I would know people from the store because, obviously it's a consignment store. There was stuff everywhere. It was just crazy. They expected my house to look like that. And really, my house is very sparse, very bare because I feel much better. And I know I feel much better in a very like visually clean space. You might be like that too. It does make a huge improvement for me when things are not cluttered and very like visually clean and organized because that does weigh on you. Like I'm not usually looking in a camera, right, where I can see behind me and that stuff behind me. Normally I'm looking forward at my computer at the wall in front of me, which is very organized. So think about the spaces you're looking at and how that can affect it or whether it's draining your energy. Saying no is a skill. Yes, it absolutely is a skill. It is one you need to practice. It's kind of like a muscle, but that's one way you can start to set boundaries and start to plug some of those energy leaks is by saying no. Every time you say yes, that's energy you're expending on something else. When you say no, it's kind of like a hard stop. Maybe that's something we can work on. And really simplifying life is the final thing that he talked about in, plugging energy leaks and, just simplifying, whether it's your daily routine, the flow of your workspace. I can think of a million things here that you can do throughout the day that will simplify your life. Do you need to have, and maybe you do, I'm not judging, 40 pairs of shoes? Do you need to have a closet full of clothes and handbags? And maybe you do. Do you need to have the extra set of Christmas dishes or, holiday decor? Do you need all of that? Does that really bring you joy? Maybe it does. Again, no judgment. I'm just throwing some ideas out here. Like, what are some things you can truly do to simplify your life? I'm sure you can think of at least one. I know I'm trying to think of things all the time that make my life a little simpler. The things I don't necessarily have to own. Um, when I buy something new, I always think, well, wait, am I going to want to clean that? You know, Piece of furniture or, whatever it is. Am I going to have to want to reorganize that on the bathroom sink? Am I going to, I always think about those things. Is it making my life more complicated? All right, I've gone on and on and on here, but here's the thing. There are lots of different ways our energy is drained. And I think spending a little time thinking about them and maybe plugging some of those energy leaks will definitely make us feel more rested. There is a second part kind of to the episode where he does talk about rest and how necessary it is, but we're going to get into that because that is part of my 12-week year, my upcoming 12-week year plan is rest and sleep, and that as it is a couple people in our 12-week year. So I'm probably going to be talking about that subject. Of course, if I talk about it, I'm going to be doing a little research. So, and I just love to share all of that with you. So I'm all reset to zero here. My desk is clutter free and I am ready to rest and take a break and recoup some of that energy. It has been an absolutely draining week here. And there have just been a lot of different things that have happened. A lot of little curveballs have come my way. A lot of things that needed to be taken care of. They weren't optional. And I'm just ready, ready to take a break. Yeah. So I hope you are taking a little break this weekend, and I will see you on day 302 of Reseller Reflections. Night night.